I think Frelick probably goes down, and we don't see him until late April at the earliest, mid to late April at the earliest, once you get past that point. But there's a chance. He is doing well in spring training so far. Frelick is hitting 400 with a 500 slugging, so he has a double to his name, basically. Small sample theater, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I think there's a chance there. Weimer, no, it won't be Weimer. I think you're mostly looking at Naquin here.
Yeah, I agree with that. It'll be Naquin, and for all the reasons that you cited, a good chance to reflect on how kind of silly that rule is. That it'll pay off. Somebody will be Rookie of the Year. Somebody will win a draft pick. But the guy that we're talking about is Chourio, who is our best prospect in a long, long time. And it's very infrequent that you have a guy that you can sort of project to be in the Rookie of the Year competition on a year-to-year basis. And the Brewers are not going to project that Sal Frelick will be. He could, maybe, but that's not going to be something that they're going to rely on when making this decision at all. Not one iota. So they'll probably keep him down to work on his defense, as teams always do. And after a couple of weeks pass, then he'll be in play. But that's what's going to happen. That has not changed diddly squat for the team.
Yeah, there is a weird wrinkle in that rule now, too, for players, where if Sal Frelick were to be held down, say those 15 days, so technically gaining or losing a year of service this year, right? So the Brewers would pick up an extra year of service on him by keeping him down those 15 days. If he finishes, I believe it's top 3 in the Rookie of the Year voting, he actually gets a full service year. The Brewers wouldn't be eligible for the pick because they didn't keep him on the roster from the beginning of the year, which is part of the requirement of doing it. But he would actually get a full year of service. Players who finished top 3 this year, I believe, ended up with a full year of service.
That's good and fair.
It
but
is,
also
yes.
Will not impact anybody's actions at all.
You wouldn't think so, no. But it does seem that the potential of winning a draft pick, which the Mariners absolutely did for having Julio Rodriguez on their roster from the beginning of the year, and the Braves did not because they ended up with Michael Harris and winning. And that was because Harris did not start the year with the Braves. He was called up shortly after the beginning of the year. So the Braves actually were rooting for, and this is a weird wrinkle in the rule, they were rooting for their other Rookie of the Year candidate, for Spencer Strider to win Rookie of the Year because he was on the opening day roster, and that would have allowed them to get the extra pick there.
Yep.
So, and the Harris thing wasn't service time manipulation at all. It was nobody even thought he was ready when he got called up. He was called up so far ahead of schedule, nobody even really thought he was ready, and he ended up winning Rookie of the Year. So that wasn't about service time manipulation. That was just one of those freak things that happens.
Yep.
So it's definitely interesting, but yeah, what do you think? I mean, how good would Sal Frelick have to be at Sal Frelick things? So batting average, getting on base, not striking out, stealing bases, because he's not going to hit for a ton of power. How good would he have to be for him to win Rookie of the Year?
Oh, easy answer. He needs to be Scott Pasednik. Or Pat Listash. Like we have the archetype for this Rookie of the Year on the Brewers several times over, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to hit over 300 and steal like 65, 70 bases. Not that many, but a ton. He needs to be near the league leaders.
That's fair. So yeah, and that's not likely, but I guess within the realm of possibility that it could happen. So maybe they should think about that and consider that in their decision making.
Lofton.
Well, the thing about it too is if you do decide to put Frelick on the opening day roster and he's not ready, and you decide that he needs to be demoted, that's the other way of picking up those extra service days and ending up extending him out the year. So having him make the opening day roster sort of at least defers that decision down the road a little bit. Because once you don't have him on the opening day roster, you lose the potential of that pick.
Right. It's a whole nother little issue of service time manipulation that's been introduced into the game.
It has. But in fairness to everybody involved with this, the current system is better than the old system. There are more ways for players to get what they deserve under this current system than under the old system. It's just not perfect.
Right. Between that and the extra bonus pool money for pre-arb guys and all that stuff too, that they got a bit better of a deal. But front offices are always going to find ways to find the loopholes, right? Like
Yep.
they've got entire teams of people finding those.
They've gotten really good at making the player wins like contests. Like they're really good at this little office thing of gamification on you guys get this, one of you wins it, one of you's happy, when you talk it up to your teammates, it seems better than it is. Like that's what this is a contest, and it's fine.